Love me, yeah you do. I found something true. Tend to my heart, touch every part. This is the start of a love I can't lose.
Do you find
She's
that
got a cool voice.
do you have fans that have like an Amy Winehouse fetish?
Oh, literally every single video I post is like, Amy Winehouse has been resurrected.
How do you not have incredible confidence? Do you not have confidence?
I do have pretty good confidence.
You have great confidence.
I do.
You're a hot chick that has a talent.
Are we starting?
Yeah, I guess we're just kind of going,
okay,
right?
good.
Is there anything better than not only being talented and then being good looking on top of it, and having access to all your limbs and not having too many mental health problems, and your only downfall is maybe, some people might not like the fact that you're a Jew, but that's about it. You're really
you're
kind
Jewish?
of, yeah.
I am.
Wow.
I grew up, born and raised on Long Island.
Yeah, she dropped the steen for the.
I was
for
bat
the-
mitzvahed.
Were you? I was not.
You weren't bat mitzvahed?
No, my parents, Russian Jews don't, like when we got here, they're like, what?
That's not true. Russian Jews do it.
No, but we just were never practicing Jews.
Okay.
Are you practicing? You shouldn't be doing any of this right now.
I go to temple like once a year.
Really?
Yeah.
What day of the year?
Cleanse yourself?
I go on. I do.
You do
I
Rosh
cleanse
Hashanah?
myself,
You do Rosh
I
Hashanah now?
pray. I do it more out of like tradition, and I like it. I feel good.
For Passover?
Yeah.
You know it.
Well, you have
And
a good
Yom Kippur.
relationship with religion, right?
do.
You're not crazy.
No,
Like,
I
I
just
would've
kind of
guessed.
see it as a place to get spiritual and connect to a higher power. And I actually think a lot of times religion is dividing us. So that's where I get a little skeptical about it.
Right.
But I do like to believe in something outside of
Same. A
this,
little faith.
Right? A little faith will get you everywhere.
He doesn't have that.
I only have, when you have faith, they say that people have faith when they're not down on their luck, but they say more poor people believe in God than rich people.
Really? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
because you need someone to talk to during hard times.
Yeah.
And it's very rarely are you like living on a yacht being like, oh my God, God. Like you might be like, thank you, God, right?
Right.
But you're not talking to God actively. When you're talking to God actively on the runway of an airplane where you're just like, no, just, how you doing?
Okay.
Just
It's
making
time.
sure,
Yeah.
like you good up there, dude. But
Yeah.
when are you ever really talking to God when you're happy?
You got to do it every night.
Do
Yeah,
you pray?
Before you
do.
go to sleep.
Do you pray?
Honestly,
Or do you go, oh God, kill me?
I used
every
to
night?
pray a lot more when I was younger.
Yeah, because you were poor.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Logic, it doesn't really fuse well with religion.
Well, of course not. So that's why it's when your brain starts spiraling is when you start talking to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then once it's gone there, I feel like that's when people start to have an awakening. And then they realize, okay, when things are good again, I'm going to be really grateful and I'm going to really appreciate it. And I'm still going to talk to God through the good. And I'm going to wake up in the morning. I find it in meditation.
Do you have, because, well, Carly is a talented singer, a talented artist. Do you ever have those, church choir songs? Hey, like, you ever go into one of those or no?
You know what's so interesting? Okay, so the next song I'm putting out, I'm not trying to pitch this, but I am.
Pitch it.
Okay, so I once heard that the greatest love songs of all times are songs that you don't know if they're about another person or if they're about God or if they're about yourself. And so I wanted to create a song like that, and that's the next thing I'm putting out because I feel like everyone tries to
Black people do those really good.
Oh my!
Can I tell
I
you?
love
You watched the Elvis Presley movie when he's in the
I didn't see
beginning
that
when he
yet.
goes into the tent. And then they're just going crazy, and they're doing like that soul dance, and it's like a church, but it's a off grounds church, and he's just over there like just letting his spirit fly out of him.
And it doesn't matter what religion you are, you're like something is
You feel
happening
it
there.
now, you
I
do.
feel that. That is like
Yeah, but is that religion or is that just momentum? Like it's like a
What do
mosh
you
pit.
mean momentum?
It's just my mosh pit has the same energy
Guy, you
too.
don't really know about much. You gotta have rhythm before you start dropping.
No, but I just mean that
analogies about dancing.
No, I just mean like when you're feeling the energy.
Yeah.
Is it the energy, or is it you're blaming that? Oh, that must be God's spirit pulsating through us, or is it just we're all animals and this feels primal and it's the same way we act in nightclubs? It's
No,
the same
you
way
feel
we
like
act everywhere.
electricity.
I
Like-
feel that,
but you almost feel like crying.
Yeah.
That's you got problems to deal with. That if you're crying.
It's so intense and it's just energy. And that energy, you could call it, it's just momentum. You could call it anything you want. But I like to think of it as like a higher power. I like to think that music is
That's
something.
dangerous. That's dangerous to say.
You ever heard?
Really?
You ever heard of
because
like
if
higher
you
power?
sell out Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
they're there because of your energy. Don't be
Yeah.
like, I am God.
Oh, I'm not saying I am.
You've
I'm
never
saying
heard-
we're all God together.
You've never heard of like an emotional song like about a dad or a
Yeah.
mom or any kind of like emotional songs where you felt something about? From
Yeah,
it?
I feel the emotion, that emotion, but I don't blame it on a higher power.
Right,
I
but if
just
they
go,
spoke it without singing it, you wouldn't feel that.
yeah, I would. What
No,
do you mean?
wouldn't. Like if they've read the lyrics to you
yes,
with no
but that has
sing-
nothing to do with God. That's just energy. That's it's.
But God
touching.
is energy.
I hate this conversation already so
You
much.
started it, buddy.
I did not.
You invited
God
Carly
is
Pearl
not-
to your podcast.
You started talking about her being Jewish. That's what you did.
Jews don't really like do God the way other religions do God.
What,
we're
meaning?
kind of like, we're not as radical. Like
Yeah.
Jews are just like, man, like we don't even know half the time
Really?
what is
You
going on.
Ever been to Borough Park?
No,
during
you're
COVID?
looking. Okay, but
That's a different kind of.
Yeah, those are extremists.
yeah.
those are like that's a mental illness.
I'm like a
anytime you
oh,
need
it's
to.
not a mental
It's a mental
illness.
illness
No,
if you need to
no.
wear all black and wear hats and all that stuff.
What do you mean?
It's a mental illness.
DJs
It's
in
tradition.
Mykonos
The
look like
tradition
that.
is old people's baggage. You know what's
Ooh.
also tradition? Forcibly removing clitorises. You know, women can't vote. Right? There's a
Well,
lot
they're
of old
not
tradition.
doing that to the
They're-
Jews.
I mean, the Hasidic Jews are very misogynistic.
Look, I don't know too much about it.
All I'm
but
saying is, anytime you have to wear a uniform, you're an extremist and you're crazy, right? It's like
Why
can't-
cops wear uniforms?
Yeah, they're crazy and they're extremists.
What do you mean? Nurses do too.
They're crazy.
How
To
are they
be able
crazy?
to-
They help you.
I think it would be
Stupidest
crazy.
thing
you
you've
think
ever said.
cops are extremists
And what do nurses have to
when
do
they're
with
on
crazy?
the job?
Yeah, they're definitely
Yeah, nurses are crazy.
nurses to be able to deal with that much trauma.
You
have
see,
to, like,
he's willing to die by the nonsense that he says.
I'm
he just
just
goes
saying.
with it.
Nurses are not extremists, bro.
He commits to
What do
Someone-
nurses have to do with
someone
anything?
that wants to be around that much trauma and blood and sadness? Like
My brother,
you're
you
some
pour
crazy-
champagne on
That's
naked,
happy.
filthy
That's
Oh my
happy.
animals.
God, they are
That's
healing
joy.
people, though.
I'm healing people.
That's what brings them though so much joy.
So they don't actually care. Their joy is brought by seeing suffering and being like, I fixed it. It's a God complex, honestly.
Oh my God, no! It's a
So
beautiful
guys,
way.
Carly Pearl is here. Hi
guys.
She's one of my. Okay, I don't want to quantify it this way, but I understand I have to because if Estee and I get divorced, obviously you're going to be on her side. So this is Estee's best friend, Carly, but for now she's also my best friend.
Yeah.
And Carly's one of the most talented musicians I've ever been around. And you're also one of the most talented people in terms of taking advantage of your talent, because I'm
That's
surrounded
really
by a
sweet.
lot of people who waste their talent.
she's
a lot of
Jewish. She works
musicians-
hard.
Yep, she is. Maybe it's the God thing. Maybe
Yeah,
she
listen.
has
So
something
keep
to
talking
believe.
shit about religion. She's putting it to work, baby.
But I've seen so many musicians in my life come and go, and they just do their thing, and then they kind of just don't put in the effort to the unfortunate, the
Work
business side, the business side of music. And you do such a good job of that, and
Thank
you
you.
constantly find a way to make yourself relevant, viral. Like you're an actress,
I do some acting too.
you model, you do everything.
You got to do it all, and be open to whatever comes your way. Because honestly, people who are doing one thing, they're getting stuck.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times.
Nowadays,
And then, nowadays,
especially.
if you're just trying to do the acting thing is really hard to like make a living just doing acting. You got to be doing.
I don't think you ever could.
Honestly,
Right.
do you know any actor who's just acting?
No.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds,
No, he's got a million brands.
but he could be just.
Yeah, he
acting.
could be just acting, but even them.
Yes,
But his
okay.
lifestyle wouldn't sustain itself off
Well,
just acting. If
yes,
he bought
he
a house
would.
initially off the first check, not every check is going to keep adding up to that, right? You have to invest that money into other things.
Okay, I'm
Right?
just saying.
I know, but I'm just letting
Have
you
you
know.
when you
Yeah.
would go to like auditions and
Yeah.
you're a hot young chick, did you ever find yourself in precarious situations where some places you would be like, oh, this would advance my career if I allowed this to continue, or I'm gonna be like, have you ever found yourself in where you're like, oh, this is a side of Hollywood that I don't like, and I'm gonna go do it on my terms?
I have definitely found many people in the entertainment industry are in it to try to get with you. Anyone who's in a position of power is in some way like wanting something from you.
That's why when ugly people become successful, it's actually an accolade, because you're like, damn, like they did this without anyone having sex with them. You know what I mean?
I don't honestly. Sometimes I don't even know what you mean.
Like when Adele blew
I know,
up,
I'm just
you're
kidding.
just like,
Are you
damn.
kidding?
For them
Adele's
to-
beautiful.
She is an absolutely
beautiful soul.
Talented.
She's a beautiful
being.
soul. I
Don't
wouldn't say
say-
she's beautiful.
Dude.
She's a beautiful person.
Dude.
Like, have you seen her face?
Now, yeah, okay,
I mean,
so
homie,
what?
like you
My
invest
face.
$4,000
And her
million
curves, she's got curves.
I mean, yeah, put $4 million into
She has
fucking
folds.
anybody.
They're not curves.
You put-
I'm gonna say it.
Oh, Lord.
It's okay.
You put $3 million.
not.
You put
You
$3
don't have
million
to.
into
You're
somebody,
positive.
you'll look good.
I just mean that it's like she is not the blueprint for what they consider someone of a woman to become famous and to be an icon, right? So when you see people like her break through, you're like, damn, that's dope, right? When you saw that fucking, remember Susan Boyle? Remember that chick?
Oh yeah.
When she was like this fucking 60-year-old.
The X Factor, right?
Yeah, some like, I'm going to say it because I'm just going to describe it, but just some old scraggly lady who was like phenomenal, right? And we care about that almost more because you're like, damn, they had to do that against all odds.
You feel for them.
I-
Which honestly,
I don't.
you don't feel
No,
for
I'm
them?
inspired by them, that they
Oh, good.
broke through an industry that is extremely superficial, right? That they're like, damn, like the fact that Steve Buscemi is like a fucking actor. You're like, that's one ugly human being. Like,
He's
that's how
really
good of an actor he is.
talented, yeah.
That's how good he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't make fun of Nicolas Cage.
Can I ask you, as an artist and as a creative person, do you find it hard to constantly adapt? Because things change in the favor of the business, right? So let's say Instagram wakes up and they're like, oh, algorithms help our business? Oh, we're going to do an algorithm now. It's not going to be as genuine. And every year something has to adjust, right? So you as a creative, is it frustrating? And how do you adapt to that?
I love it because I feel like, look, I don't have a destination. And if you go into this field without one, I think it helps you a lot because then you're just open to the flow of it. It's exciting when something new comes to the table. You're like, oh, this is the new tool that I get to use. Like, you're giving me something else. Let me try this out.
But you don't think that messes with your momentum?
No, but you got to be open to the ebbs and flows. I have had some real high highs and then some real low lows in this where I haven't booked anything or like,
So when every time something changed, you weren't never frustrated like, oh, I got to redo this now and I got to change this up.
I got to learn TikTok now.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to learn.
Right. You've
what is
never
a
had that
Discord?
moment?
I was scared, but at the same time, I was excited because I was like, oh, great. There's an app here, TikTok, where nobody knows me. And I get to just try something new. And I get to like meet new people. It's an exciting feeling. And I think it's all about perspective. You look at it and you're like, I'm starting from scratch. Or you look at it like, oh my God, I'm getting another shot.
Your positivity as an artist helps you a lot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. You know
absolutely.
why? Because you've met my friend Stevie Windows, the window washer.
Oh my God,
right? Super
Stevie.
talented guy. His entire life was a dancer, bodybuilder, sings, everything you can
Yeah.
name. Right? Made money, but he's negative, and he would never want to adapt.
Oh my
And
God.
was
Are you
negative.
that's why
talking
he
about
died.
me or Stevie Windows?
Stevie Windows.
Sounds like me.
My brother used to have 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't know you.
No, but I just don't adapt.
Stevie Windows could have had that, but he doesn't want to adapt. He kept saying, no, society's changing. I hate this. I hate this president. I hate
literally
that.
me.
And everything becomes negative, and they never want to change and adapt, but you just roll with the punches and you're positive. So I think that works in major favor for you as an artist.
Thank you.
Yeah, Carly's like the human joint. When she comes to hang out, it's like, oh, she brings a hug attitude, right?
That's the
You're
nicest thing
I've
anyone's ever
only
said to
said
me.
this about one other person, Ryan Pownell. You're like a golden retriever.
Oh my God.
Right, it's kind of like
You are, honestly.
because to me,
I don't know
what
about Ryan, but you-
Val just described me, right? Like I'm very negative. Any new app that comes out, I'm like, fuck, I got to learn this garbage. And I knew how long it took me to figure out Instagram. That it just becomes like. It's imagine every time you build a house, at like 2 years later, someone burns it down. They're like, just rebuild it, bro. Come on, it's fun. And you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's where my negative energy comes from. And I wish I could get a little
Well,
bit. Maybe I got to find God.
I don't. Maybe you got to find God. Well, I don't feel that from you.
Well,
I
because
always
we
feel
have a good
great
time.
when I'm around you.
Well, yeah, because you probably leave being like, at least I don't have his problems. You're
Well,
like, I
not
feel
only
great.
that, but his personality is people pleasing, right? He's a peacemaker, and he also wants to make sure everybody else is having a good time around him. He might not be happy himself, but he gets happy seeing everybody else happy around him.
Yeah. I'm a
Interesting.
cuck.
Yeah.
I'm a cuck
He's
for other
really a
people's.
cuck.
I'm a
He's a
cuck
cuck.
for other people's fun.
Well,
You're
this
a
is
cuck.
interesting because it's very important. Then you need
You're
to
a
be.
joy cuck.
Yeah.
You need to be so
Enjoy
careful
that.
about the people who you surround
Enjoy
yourself
this
with.
good time for me.
Yeah.
If you are a cuck, then you really need to be careful, because if you start surrounding yourself with people who are a little dark and negative, you're going to fall right into that.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to become
If you're a
whipped
cuck,
by
you
them.
need to
Well, you know how
really be
positive
careful.
Este is.
You guys are both a little negative, though.
Who?
You and Este.
Yeah, we're incredibly negative.
But you
we're
guys laugh
funny.
more
We're
than any people I know.
We do laugh a lot, and I think the negativity helps us bond. Yeah, Este is the closest I have to like banging your best friend, kind of like guy vibe. Because she's a dude up until I'm horny. Then she's a girl.
So if I was like
That's the
a girl,
best thing you could ever
bang me?
find.
If you, yes, yes.
Anal?
That's all we can do. What are we gonna?
That's a
dock.
fact. That's a fact.
Do you know what docking is?
No.
Docking is when two gay guys they touch dicks, and the one with the foreskin pulls his foreskin over the other guy's dick. It's like Jim Norton, a comedian, described it like when an airplane refuels mid-flight. You know, when they connect those little things. A plane's flying and the other. So Val and I would touch penises, and then foreskin.
You
would
ever
get
took a
pulled
sock
across.
off and then as you're taking it off, you put it on your arm or no?
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
so
what
that's
are those
docking.
things where you get your like,
Chinese
hand-
finger trap.
Yeah, so it's like a Chinese finger trap.
Yeah, with Val's
Even worse.
foreskin.
Even worse.
Yeah,
It just
it's
feels
great.
a lot warmer.
How do you
Yeah.
guys know about this?
What do you mean? How do
I don't know
that?
anything about it. I
Carly, it's not. I don't do it, but I know about it. You know about things that you don't do.
Okay.
You ever
Right?
been on Reddit or no?
Actually, Kirill got me on. I love it. It's so honest.
I'm surprised you're this positive after being on Reddit.
Who's positive in your family?
Who's positive? My dad is super positive. Like
Really?
the most positive guy in the world.
I love it.
Yeah, like my mom runs the show. You know,
Of course,
she's a
Jewish
Jewish
mother.
mother.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, every Jewish mother
I love
runs
when
the show.
women say, "My mother runs the show," because the thing is, if you don't let the woman run the show, then you won't have a marriage.
Yeah,
That's right.
Happy
So,
wife,
so
happy
when
life.
women are like, "Oh, my mom, like, it's the best," like, because like my girl also, she's like, "My mom runs the house." I'm like, "Yes," because there would be so many arguments.
Yes,
if
of
she didn't.
course. And then if my dad stops paying the bills, there's no house to run.
Right.
He's just chill as
Sorry,
could be.
I was just having like
Yeah.
a moment.
Are they still working or are they done?
They're retired.
Dude, the life.
Yeah.
And mom
They're
is
at the beach.
Mom is positive too.
Mom's pretty positive.
What did they do for work?
So my mom was a speech therapist at
Okay.
a preschool.
Love that.
Yeah,
that.
great. Loves being around kids.
Fire.
And my dad had like
Same.
10 different jobs throughout his life. He's like the most inspiring person because he started out having an auto body shop with
Oh,
his family,
that's
family
cool.
business. And then people stopped like pimping out their cars at a point.
Being a mechanic is not a positive job. I'm gonna tell you right now. To stay
I don't
positive
think,
as
was
a
he actually working on the cars?
No.
He's a Jew, dude.
regardless,
He's not working on
still
the car.
running the mechanic shop though is tough.
Did you know
It's
that?
still
She
tough.
also didn't say
Yeah.
mechanic. She said auto body. That's more expensive.
Right.
And she
Okay.
also said auto.
No, but there was a point
So he
where
sold it off.
Yeah. No, well there was a point where people just like started leasing cars. People used to like buy their car and like get it lined and get it like
People that lease cars
Cool.
still whatever. But
Maybe
yeah,
in
so,
LA.
Yeah, he constantly reinvented
Yeah,
himself.
so
Okay.
he constantly reinvented himself. So he sold this auto body shop and then he went into real estate and then he went into becoming a building manager and he just kept like through different years. Like I think he was 50 years old and he started a brand new career.
So he's a hustler.
He's a hustler.
He's a Jew.
And he's a hard worker. And he's a good man. Everywhere he goes, he just spreads positivity. So people just want to work with him.
Good women come from.
good
This is
homes?
what I say.
From
I
good
say
homes.
a good
This.
wife. A good wife has to love her dad and have a little
Not too much.
Hold on. A good dad, like love her dad and having fear in God a little bit, and then you have a good woman.
Fear?
A little bit, like because
It's like
consequences.
a Muslim
What
woman.
about belief in God?
Right. Well, belief in God or having
fear,
having
yeah.
a little bit of fear of consequences,
Yes.
which means
okay. I
which
get
means
that.
kind
And
of
belief
like
in karma, I
Right,
think, is a good
exactly.
way.
You're God, right?
who?
In the relationship.
If I put my foot down, yes. No, but that's my belief.
I believe that.
Even
too.
if it comes off naive and you might not agree with it.
Yeah.
Like his girl believes in ghosts. I don't care if you believe. Don't
That's-
believe.
that's- she's
I
an
don't
idiot.
believe if you don't
She's
believe
an
in
idiot.
religion, but you believe ghosts. And you already got
You're actually
other
100%
issues.
right. I should break up with Este because I can't. Well, because Este's ghost fear doesn't poke into our life, right? Most God-fearing people, it penetrates their life every day, and that's where it gets.
Yeah,
annoying.
my girl believes in God, but she doesn't bring it on with like anything. She just goes. She's like, I think you should believe in God a little more. And like
I know
once
what
in a
that
while,
means. You're like,
she's like, I think you should be a little more like I'm like, okay,
Like,
okay, babe, I'll try.
How do you believe in God more? You're like, oh, yo,
I know what she means though by it.
I said,
I think
I'll do
she's
it. I'll
saying
try.
like be open to the signs.
Yeah.
There's signs everywhere. The universe is sending you like signs all the time.
Yeah,
You gotta be open
got
to
robbed
it.
today. What is your sign?
My ex-girlfriend in college would use religion as such a crutch that maybe that made me hate it so much. She was a very religious family, and she would fuck around with her ex, and she said the devil made her do it.
I don't like that. When it starts, like you said, when you start using reasoning for maybe God, maybe it's because of this, maybe then I'm just like, all
You're
right,
not taking responsibility for your actions.
You're honestly delusional. You have no accountability, bro.
But most God-believing people use God as an excuse for their actions, right? It's like, it's one thing if Carly was like, oh my God, like I love God, and then that's it. You're like, cool. But if Carly was like, oh my God, sorry I'm late, like God made me late, I'd be like, I can't hang out with her. She's annoying.
Yeah. No, it's a wild concept. Very draining concept for me.
Yeah.
Because I start thinking about a lot of things. I'm trying to make sense out of it. Drains my little brain. For sure.
It doesn't have to make, like, you don't have to go that deep into it. I think you just have to almost believe that, like, there are things that are unexplainable.
My emotions and, me wanting to believe in it, definitely, like, I have a little bit of, like, oh, I believe in this and then the third. Some of this stuff doesn't make sense. But then the logic kicks in and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know.
But I also don't know how this works.
Right.
Like, when you think about it this way, like, I don't know how this thing works.
Yeah. When I get on the phone with you in LA, like, how is that working?
How does FaceTime work? Like, who's like 100 years ago explain how FaceTime works, right? And then maybe that's God. The fact that like 100 years ago you can't explain an iPhone to someone, like maybe I'm that dumb that I don't understand God yet.
Crazy stuff, but
yeah.
It's
Why
weird.
are you accepting that as being unexplainable, but then
here.
you're not expecting God?
Because it's physically, you could touch it.
Yeah, because a bunch of Asian men put this together, thought about it.
What about Finding Estee?
Bobby Lee was working.
Finding Estee, do I believe that was God's creation?
I think that was like, you didn't meet her by mistake.
I did meet her by mistake.
No way.
I totally did.
No
But do you believe in
way.
like everything that's happened in your life? Like, so you've gone through.
You attracted it though to happen.
Yes.
You and Estee. You know why? Because you were on the downhill with the relationships, and you're like, when am I gonna meet somebody? Look at my
desperate.
career, this and that. How can I meet somebody that's fun and cute and this
Yeah,
and that?
I didn't
you built
build it.
You built that in your brain. You technically built Estee in your head.
Yeah,
And then
but
she came to your
You
life.
Yeah, but I
attracted her,
also
yeah.
made the mold fit, right? When I was dreaming up my version of Estee, she also had other features.
Right, but you as slut whisperer and the fame that you got, you pictured her a certain way, and then you had to mold that fame because you
I
realized,
had to jam her. I had to fit
Whoa.
a round peg into a square peg in a round hole.
whoa.
But I
She's
love her.
beautiful.
I didn't say she's not beautiful. You're actually putting words in my mouth. You just made her ugly. I said other features, and
Estee
you quickly
drinks
went. I
children's
don't think
blood,
she's
bro.
ugly.
Oh God.
What'd you say?
She drinks something. You guys,
No,
your
Estee's
entire
always
crew,
sick.
you guys age backwards, bro. It's mad weird. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing.
We got a really good-looking group of friends.
You guys sell something. I don't know what you guys are
Yeah,
selling
but
or
I'll
buying.
I'll buy whatever you guys are
You
selling.
guys are fucking. I don't know if you guys are praying or fucking shooting something up every day. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, that's
How old
so
are you,
nice.
Carly?
I'm 35.
You look great.
Oh,
yeah, you
my
guys
God,
age
thank
well.
you.
Estee
I
is
used to
way-
be so scared to say that number, especially talking about the entertainment industry. Like, I've been told by so many old white men not to tell anybody how old I am.
That's so weird.
I know. It's so crazy because they actually think that you hit an age where, like, you shouldn't be making music anymore. And I'm like, so you're telling me that I don't have stories to tell now that I actually have stories to tell? Now that I've lived a little, that, like, I've been through some shit?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be fire
What?
if you were like a holistics doctor singing singing to people. Like you ever saw
That sounds like a.
You ever saw
poor
that chick
person's
Barbara?
job.
Are you
I
telling
forgot-
me to go back to school? Because hell no.
No, not back to school, but I'm just thinking, like, how do you evolve though as an old artist, right? No, I'm saying like in your 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
right? Like, how do
no,
you?
it's a great question,
I mean,
honestly.
why is it about evolving? Isn't it just like I'm just going to make art and hopefully someone likes it?
I guess, yeah.
Right at the end of the day, like
True, but like it's.
But are you
it
still
gets-
trying to be famous at 60? Maybe that's different. Like, are you
I was never
actively
trying to be
are you
famous.
actively pursuing fame?
No.
What level of fame are you comfortable with?
Whatever it is,
Screaming
I'm
fans?
comfortable with this level right now.
Good.
But I'd be comfortable with a lot more.
So, yeah, so
I'd be
what's
comfortable playing stadiums.
What's
but
what's failure to you then?
failure is to stop making it. Making it is making it. Like actually
Like what?
making
Like
it.
surviving off of it for the rest of your life, right? Like what are the pressures financially, right? Because it's very hard where art meets business, right?
Yes.
It's fine when art is making you money.
Yeah.
Doing art because you're just, I'm getting paid to do what I love. But at some points you make decisions where business overpowers art, and that's where you start feeling like you're selling a piece of your soul. Like that's
True.
Have you gotten to a place where you're signing contracts and dealing with managers or this and that and the third, where you're kind of like, oh, this is a little frustrating, it's a little annoying?
Yes, I have before, and now I'm out of that.
So you're basically just running
I'm
it
a free
yourself.
agent right now. I'm running it myself, and I'm finding that like I can. I seem to know myself and what I want more than any person who tells me they think they know what's right for
We're
me.
living in a time where it's easier for artists to be independent and to have target for them, like a
Right.
goal for themselves.
Well, because back in the day, an artist had no network, right? An artist just was like, I'm an artist, and I went to someone else who would plug me in. But now I can go viral myself, and people will just reach out directly. And why do I need
Yeah.
that middleman telling me, like,
Exactly.
I have all the keys to all the doors? And you're like, no, like that
Yes.
makeup brand is just going to DM me,
Yes.
right? And just work with me. Why do I need someone right there?
Okay, so let me give you an example this week.
Yep.
So I have loved this artist for a really long time. And I've been following her. She's doing really high vibrational music, such a mindful lyricist. She's soulful. She raps. She's so talented. Her name is Queen Herbie. And I went to go see her in Brooklyn last year. And I was like, I need to open for this person. So I followed her on social media. I've just been like keeping up with what's going on. Last week, I see that she announced her tour. Okay? And I'm like, okay,
wow.
I don't have a manager right now. How do I try to get involved in this? I just send an email with my music explaining who I am and what I'm doing and how I really believe I would be a great opener for her. And I just booked a show
You got
opening
it?
for her in
Oh,
New
shit,
Orleans.
I
that's
just got
so
chills.
fire.
I just got
I am
chills.
so
That's so
excited.
cool.
I'm going to be opening at the House of Blues
Where?
in
So
New
sick.
Orleans
What?
on October 10th.
Bro, that's
If you
insane.
guys are around, come.
That's so cool. That is actually
I'm
cool.
so excited because it's so aligned with what I'm doing, and it felt just like I manifested it. Like I saw it, and then I
You have the
followed
same
up with
features
it.
as my girl. Like she's very also like you guys. It's that target when you wake up in the morning and you can think of that. What it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to be, you will. It really
You
does
attract
work.
it.
Yeah, it does.
And
It
you
works.
can't chase it. That's the thing. Everyone's always like, chase your dreams, chase this, chase that. I'm like, stop chasing anything.
You got to build a vision. Yeah.
Start doing.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit of a chase, what you did, right? Like, you could send out 30 of those emails
True.
and probably, hopefully, book 10 other
I know.
things.
You know, I guess that was the first one I've ever
And
sent
it helps
out.
that you're
Like,
super
Cool, though.
talented. Like somebody hears that or looks at it, they're like, "Oh my god, this is like the better looking Amy Winehouse. Like, what the hell's going on
Yeah.
here?" You
Yeah.
know what
she
I
was
mean?
beautiful too.
I mean, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
if you're
like,
into, like,
I'm
heroin.
just saying, like, she also didn't take care of herself, right? Like, so it's just different. She was a talented person. I'm not taking anything away from her.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you have a lot more balance in your personality, right? So whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point of the story is that as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, like, this person's coming to me.
Yeah.
I'm taking them.
And then I can show, like, you know, on Spotify where it says artists, people who listen to this artist also listen to. Like, I can show her team, like, that we have a very similar
Well, they can
following.
hear the sound, too. They know
Exactly.
it all.
Sick.
And you've gone
really cool.
viral. Like, you have,
Yeah.
someone looks at you and they're like, this is a fully packaged product, and she knows what she's working on. And I don't need to literally hold her hand too much.
Right.
And
But
all
do you
the
know
stuff
how many managers or people I've talked to who I was like, I would really love to open for her or get involved with her, or speak
There's no
to her.
money to
and
be made for that manager, so
None
he's not
of
But
doing
not
none
it.
of
only
them
that,
have
but-
gotten me anything.
Because it's a drag to middleman that, right? So it's like, oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if they don't know if it's possible for them to middleman. Not because you can't do it. It's because
Well,
they're
this-
like, well, how do I present this? Maybe it's just they don't know how to sell it. So that's their problem, not your problem.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's why it sucks to be going through people. And that's why we live in a great time where you can directly go to the
Yes.
source.
Right. Look, there's people who are connectors, and those are important people to know too.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, having a corporate person represent you also hurts you in conversation, right? Because then they're like, ugh, management's involved. Ugh, this is
Yeah.
involved.
Everybody
and
wants a
maybe,
piece.
guess what? At the end of the day, I'd rather take a girl on tour that's like, I'm coming alone with like one guy to do my thing versus, ugh,
Yeah.
this girl's going to show up with a lawyer, a team, and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? And
It's a business.
and,
bro.
it's,
It's a
and maybe
business.
the artist who you're asking sees themselves in you, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, she's not represented. She is just like, I love this hustle. And I look at the socials. But you've experienced, you know, so many of these highs already.
so
Kinda
many of
like-
these highs, but then I go through these periods where that's the thing. It's so humbling because you have that high and you think it's just going to keep going, and then you get these lulls that last months and you literally feel like you've lost it all. You feel like
no one cares about you.
No one cares about you. You feel, and then I like stop posting and I start getting in my head a little bit about it all, and like I have to remember that this is what happens. Like, it's happened so many times, but still when you're in that low, you feel like it's never going to happen again. I'm never going to have a viral song again. I'm never going to have that, like, big moment again. People aren't going to, like, hear my music again.
It's very draining, by the way.
It can be.
You know why? Because it's one thing if you have a very calm lifestyle where you can be in a place where you're not working a lot, or if you have a good sleep schedule, whatever it may be, right? But I have that with stupid skits. Can you imagine? You make like beautiful art in like music, but I have that with like a video. I'm like, oh, this video hit. I hit like 100,000 views, right? And then I don't have any material to post, and I'm gone for 2 weeks because I'm working like an animal 12 hours a day, and I'm just like, where am I going to catch another momentum? Do I have to go on another vacation to make a funny video?
Oh, it's not the worst.
It's
where's
just
the
so
next
annoying,
idea?
right? So I'm like sitting there, and I'm worried about money, finances, paying for bills, trying to live in a lifestyle that I guess that I'm picturing for myself, but then at the same time trying to create content and entertain people, and I'm like, what is this worth for me? Is it worth be entertaining everybody, or do I need to save a little money? But then I'll talk to Kirill, and Kirill's like, oh, but you see, instead of worrying about making $10,000 a month, how about you don't make anything but just focus straight on making content?
Yeah.
But then you have to lose the lifestyle. So
right,
it's like
it's a sacrifice.
So it's
well,
like
that's what most artists who become successful had to make some really hard decisions,
Yeah.
right? It's just like you got, where you hear someone's like, I ate nothing but ramen and lived on a couch, like Travis Scott did, right? To pursue his art because he's like, I don't want anything to get in the way. But think about how many people just don't make it.
I envy females. And especially like my girl, like right now.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean. I know what you're gonna say.
You know why? Because me as a guy, the reason why she's attracted to masculine energy because I'm a provider, right? And I can get things done, which is innately what it's supposed to be, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But she's okay with dragging her loan for dentistry, and she's like, I'm not worried about money. It'll come. It'll this and that. And then obviously, as a provider, I'm constantly caught up in the hustle and bustle to make sure that we get everything going. And then I'm watching her, and she's putting all her energy into, let's say, growing her socials.
That's what you have to do as a guy, right?
And then that means I would have to take
road.
$500,000 loan to just also sit at home and be like, you know what? I'm just going to do content all day long. But to me, as a man,
she doesn't leave you.
Exactly.
After you
support
her.
I totally.
And
I
every
feel
day
for
you
you.
wake up,
That's
and
got to
every
be
day
very hard. I didn't have that on my plate when I decided to like go move back home with my parents.
Because if I can't provide, right? Because if I can't provide certain experiences for us in a relationship where I can't do certain things, I feel like I'm
not a man.
I'm not only not a man, but then all of a sudden that attraction and that whole thing that we built, and now it's like, oh, it's not around anymore. Oh, okay. And it's like, then everything starts stagnating and slowing down because I'm like, I have to now invest into myself. I have to make more videos. I have to do this. But then it's just so hard to balance.
Absolutely.
Like, but I guess you got to find out, like, that's where you find out who the person you're really with, right? It's really easy to be with someone during good times. It's a lot harder to be with someone during bad times. So if you go, hey, Nat, like, we're not going to go out eat. We're not going to go do all this shit. I need to focus on figuring out what I'm about. And this might mean that we're going to not have that lifestyle. And if she leaves you, then you're like, then it wasn't true love. And if she stays with you and goes, hey, dude, I believe in this. Fuck it. I don't need this lifestyle right now.
Yeah, for sure. She says it herself too.
Yeah, so
she says it herself too. But like, dude, it's one thing to say it, and one thing to feel it.
And the man feels that, like, it's ingrained in you.
And it's weakness too, right? You start feeling that. You start feeling like you're like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna focus on myself. Blah 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 blah. But once again, in a relationship, it's hard to do that because in a feminine energy or a masculine energy, women want to feel cared for. They want to feel like you're attentive to them. So you have to constantly put them first, right? In some ways. And then you can't put other things that you're doing first.
So let me ask you a question. Are you saying that a man shouldn't be with his forever woman until he has fully secured his position in life? Because it's very hard to build yourself while at the same time being a good guy, which is probably why by the time I reached Este, I was done being a bad guy.
Not only that, I think a real relationship is, in my opinion, is that a woman is cared for, but I think a real a solid relationship is when a woman makes helps her man find the purpose that he feels fulfilled in. But that's very hard to do, because I think there's a lot of boundaries that get crossed in that sense, where like you have to accept a lot and you have to take a lot of accountability. You have to be very self-aware on both parties, like the man and the woman.
Yeah.
Which is very tough.
It's very
because
tough.
That means you have to wake up as one and be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to be selfish about this. It's okay that he didn't do this for me because he was working on this. And there has to be a lot of understanding.
A lot of communication too about it.
A lot of communication, but that's draining also, because if you're creative and you're in your head and you need to be left alone.
You have to be selfish.
You have to be selfish, because
You
if I'm
You
like
do.
clamped up and I'm just in my head and I'm like thinking of something, she's like, babe, why aren't you talking? Why is this? Why that? What happened?
Because I'm trying to figure out how to make us rich.
Because but she wants communication, which I understand,
Right.
because she wants to be explained. And I'm thinking that she's gonna see the actions that I'm doing. She's gonna figure, oh, he did this because of that, and it's fine. But that's not how it works.
Yeah, you can't just assume she's
Right.
gonna see
I
it.
have to
and
sit at the table and be like, babe, the reason why
This is what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Which is
also
tough.
hard
I
to
just
do.
want that clarity.
But it's
That's tough because
It's
the
tough.
things that are in my head, I don't want you to hear sometimes.
That too.
That's
But,
okay.
but look at the crazy part. Like Carly went through a pretty insane life change in her life. She was married her whole life, pretty much.
my whole.
Your
I was
adult
with
life.
my ex-husband my whole life.
Right,
Yeah.
but you were with and
For how
then during
long?
the pandemic.
We were together since I was 14.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
yeah.
So 14 to
You
we
really
were together
believe in
18
God.
years.
You really
Yeah.
believe in God.
We were married for 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was.
But since 14, you're pretty much married your whole life.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
And then to
That's
have
crazy.
this during the pandemic or right at the top of the pandemic.
Right when the pandemic started, I just wanted to take a little space.
Wow.
You know, because I had never really been on my own, and I started panicking because we're in this tiny little apartment, and I'm like, I feel like I should take some time to like hear my own thoughts a little
Is that
bit.
tough to spend that much time with someone for so long, and then at the same time be like, not only just for you to be alone, but to even have the courage to say I want to be alone?
Yeah, and I didn't quite say it probably as communicatively as
Did you
I
sing it?
should. I was
put
like,
it in a song.
I'm-
Hey, get the fuck out.
I think a woman needs her time into her beginning of her 20s to really build the foundation of who she is and where she wants to be and
Yeah.
how it is. Even though obviously we all change every 5
Yeah.
years, 10 years, whatever it may be. And a man needs to be in close to his 30s to really understand what's going on. But I think obviously you need to have
I think you have to have a period of your
References,
life,
yes, of course.
where you are on your own a bit and you can hear your own thoughts and you
And-
can figure out who you are.
and date
What-
people, see what you like.
Yeah,
see
Yeah,
what,
but,
think
I
about
just
who you
more
are.
needed like alone time. I wasn't even like dying to date new people. It was more like I need to figure out who I am. I don't even know
because your
what I
personality
want.
was attached to that relationship.
Yes, because you know when you're 14, your head isn't even fully formed. You know,
Yeah.
like I kind of formed an identity with another person. And
Yeah,
so-
that's a crazier setup than
Yeah.
like when I'm having an existential crisis, I am happy I have someone.
right.
Right, I don't want to be alone. I've
I
already
like being,
done.
You've
I like
already
being in
done
my, I
that.
like being in my corner. I like
No,
being left alone a little
I
bit.
need someone to constantly be like, dude, it's gonna be fine. When I'm going, oh my god, I don't know what's going on in my brain.
But I think it's a childhood thing. I had to resolve a lot of emotional traumas as a kid by myself, and I think it became. I always go cold. And that's what she kind of doesn't like about me, is the fact that I need to push everybody
like some
away,
space?
and I need to be cold for myself. Like I need to be alone. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to explain myself. I get actually more aggravated, more aggressive if you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's
Yeah.
wrong?
Well, maybe you
Or
just
like-
need some space, figure it out,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'll come back when
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk
Correct.
about
Maybe
what's
you just
wrong.
need
But
to grow emotionally.
Shut up.
how old are you?
31. I just turned 31 in March.
Yeah, so he's going through that. Men in his 30s need to figure out their life situation.
Listen, I have a lot of ducks in a row,
Yeah,
which I'm not
you
too
do.
upset about, but my expectations are way too high for my own good sometimes.
I think you've got too high, like too big of a destination,
Yeah.
and you're just not allowing it to flow the way it will.
Life's a journey, not a
It
destination.
is out. Thank you.
Steven
Because
Did you
Tyler.
read The Alchemist?
Steven Tyler.
Oh,
That's
Steven
an
Tyler.
Aerosmith lyric.
Well, I'm
That's
sure
an
he
we're
wasn't
actually
the
gonna
first
get that
person
tattooed.
to say that.
Okay, calm down.
I also get afraid because time flies by so fast, and it fucks me up mentally, because I just feel like I'm always counting the minutes, counting the days, looking at back at the month. I'm like, month passed by. Oh my god! And then in front of me, I'm like, when do I have kids? When do I want to
Told you
build a
this gets
house?
dark here.
That's
told her.
okay.
I
No,
told
it's
Carly
not.
that. I was like,
Yeah.
you and I always go dark, and we start thinking about our existential crises.
But these are.
I guess it's because she's
absolutely-
positive. We want to hear her.
We're
No,
trying
I
to either
get
bring
it.
her down or make her. Can you make us happy?
Absolutely. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on there. Your anxiety is living in the future.
Yeah.
Your depression's living in the past. But right here in this moment, right now, this is all that exists. And right here, life is pretty freaking good. You're in New York City. You're making a podcast. You're living your dream.
You're wearing a Mykonos
You're wearing
sushi club.
You just went to Mykonos, okay?
I had some sushi in Mykonos.
You had sushi in Mykonos. How bad is your
Zuma,
life?
Yeah.
Get out. Okay, so I have another
Something
song.
I can't
just
say the words I want to say with Carly.
What
here.
were the words?
I'm not going to say
Okay,
because
don't
it's the
say
fruit
it.
of the poisonous tree.
Don't poison me. But literally, have you ever heard the term future tripping?
Bro, I'm future tripping every day.
Yeah, get out of that.
Homie,
be
I'm-
here right now. Take a breath.
What a woman thing
Can
to say.
everyone just take a breath right now and be here with me?
Listen, I'm going to tell you I'm future tripping because I'm always trying to make sure everybody around me's happy.
Yeah, I'm a people pleaser.
Well,
it's
stop
hard to not
doing
be in
that.
the future.
I'm
Oh my God, the
super
people-pleasing
corny with
guy.
that.
What we're hearing is
Super
Carly's
corny with that.
selfish, doesn't care about anyone else, and she's like, just live in the present, fuck everyone else's
my
problems.
God.
I'm sitting here thinking about the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza. I can't be present. I'm thinking about every problem.
And also what bugs me out, you know, the type of person I am. Like, if you were upset, like if let's say we all went on a trip,
Yeah.
and everybody's having a good time, and the
Yeah.
next day I wake up and I see your face is kind of like, that would fuck me up. You know, that's how whack it is for me. Because I'm like, oh, why is this person not happy? I got to take care. What's going on?
Can we get rid of her? She's
Yeah,
ruining
this
my
is what I'm
fun.
telling Kirill. Like, if you're feeling people around you are giving you negative energy, you're just a very sensitive person, probably.
Super corny with
Oh,
that. I hate
Start
that.
putting
I hate
yourself
that.
around better people.
I carry people's emotions.
Stop it.
all day.
If you're sad, I can't be happy around you.
Because if I'm in the office and Camille's like, what's going on? What's wrong? Because he sees something like if I'm like tired or I'm tired.
Yeah, he
And
wants
I'm the
to
same
make
way.
sure.
I just
Well,
want
then
to
you
know,
guys
I
are-
just
you
want
guys
to
are
know if
good
Val's
for each
problems
other
are as
then.
bad as mine.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
I
be
know
like,
you do, you little
Val comes in
scumbag.
too happy. I'm like it's something's wrong. Let's figure
Such a
this out.
scum of the earth.
I am.
He's like honestly the best
I'm the worst.
scumbag ever.
He really is.
Yeah.
He is. I know. I love him.
I'm like your creepy uncle. You have to apologize. Like everyone, I come with an asterisk. They're like, oh, Kirill, but it's fine. It's fine. He's good.
It's like a Russian bathhouse in here today. No?
It's really. I'm
I
sweating.
love it.
Of course you do.
You love everything, bro. Honestly,
Carly,
what don't you like?
Yeah.
I don't like air conditioning. I feel like that's
Well, you
poisonous.
start-
Oh, what a typical Jew. She's like, that costs money.
Well, honestly, my parents barely used it growing up. Like, really, it was like only on like a heat wave that
You're
they
a
would even
European
turn
Jew.
it on. Yeah.
Was
They
there
were like-
AC in the auto body shop, or your dad just ran like a
Probably not.
slave shop?
Bro, everywhere in Europe, they
Hey.
don't believe
Hey,
in fucking
they got
ACs.
paid.
Everywhere in Europe.
Yes, I know. I was just
That's
in
awful.
Budapest and Croatia, and
Oh, wow.
both
Oh, I'm
places.
sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That
I could be happy too.
I would live that life as well. That's great.
Shut up! You're going
You
to
guys
Greece.
gotta live
You're
in the
going to
moment.
Greece next week, and you were just in Mykonos.
Yes,
so.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
But anyway, like everywhere we went,
And
the
there's
restaurants
no
had
ice.
no AC.
No ice in
Yeah, you have
drinks.
to ask.
It's disgusting. What's wrong with those people?
Yo, I swear, I think it's an Eastern European thing. Bro, everywhere we went, my brother either complained about the price, complained about the location, or complained about something.
He's
There's
Jewish.
See, no, but if
always-
you go on vacation, you
And he's
just
not
have
Jewish.
to decide. I'm not going to be looking at prices.
That's
just
a
says the
another
girl who
female
got-
thing
I
to
know.
say. That's another female thing to say.
My boyfriend looks at the prices.
That's another female thing to say, but it's okay. We're gonna let you slide with it because you are a great energy and you're very positive. So
I
will
understand
get-
where she gets her positivity from.
My
What
girl,
are prices?
my girl's all the time. She goes, she's so interesting. I'm like, she's like gift shops, it's gift shops, just fucking running around every little thing, and then we get to a place and she's like, I want to buy you a gift, and she like whatever. She bought me like a wallet, and I'm like, this is not a good time for you to do this. She goes, whatever. Like money comes and goes. And I'm just like fucking my heart sank. I'm like, brother, it's we wouldn't enjoy LA as well as we would if I looked at it.
I would
that way.
have that mentality as a woman, but that's only because I know I have an ATM between my legs.
Oh my God!
And I know no one in this room agrees with me, but at least if I was a woman, I would have that financial security.
Do you agree though
I'll
women
slice
don't
them.
carry financial burden as much as men do?
Absolutely. But I also,
Old school
because I was
woman.
raised back to the Jewishness, like I am super thrifty and super conscious of money. Like when I say like don't look at the bill on things when you're on vacation. I'm saying like, you know, like you can order an extra dish at dinner, but I'm not saying like, let's go to a high-end like Prada store and get things. Like I barely buy a thing on like
Well, it also
designer or
wouldn't
anything
fit
like
you're just such a hippie.
Aw.
Not like a bad smelly
Not like a
hippie.
bed bug baby.
Yeah, like you would be. No, that's an insult. I can't say.
Nah,
that.
you're not a hippie.
My insult would be like you're like if Forever 21 was a person, but that's an insult more than a compliment. But you're just like you have that spirit. You're like you're
It's playful,
you're a free
I
spirit
think. Yeah, free spirit.
without being a free spirit.
I'm just like grateful to be able to like be free right now and follow this, you know, this passion of mine.
I
Yeah.
envy that so much. I want to feel that.
Just
Can
transition.
I feel that or no?
Just
You
transition.
can.
How?
It's literally perspective.
Help me
It's
escape.
a decision every single day. You wake up with a new choice.
Right, but you wouldn't be able to do this if you were like starving and poor and lived in and like had to eat in a soup kitchen. It's really hard to have
No, but I
musical
will
outlook,
say that
positive like
you know, after my breakup, I went back to live with my parents.
how was that? Awesome.
Oh God, it was brutal.
Why?
Just because like I started like I was like in my 30s and I was just feeling like crap doing that. You feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're starting from scratch and that like everyone around you is
Thinks you're a
you know,
loser.
Yeah,
Married,
thinks you're a
kids,
loser.
lives
And
in
I'm
the
I
house.
didn't think you were a loser.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank
I actually
you.
thought it was the fucking craziest. The fact of why you went home and that you looked at a hard decision and executed. Like, I respect that more than most people who would stay in a relationship they didn't want to be in just out of fear of looking like a loser.
I have a
So I think that made you not a loser. Like, you moved back home. It's like, dude, you got the cards that you were dealt. And what are you supposed to do? Live on the street? Of course, go home.
But you ate
Go
it.
where you're loved.
You
Go
ate it though.
home.
You ate that. You ate the hit.
Well,
and
I
you-
spent every single day at home just
hustling.
making videos.
How quickly
making
did
videos
you
of me singing.
find how quickly between coming home and feeling like shit and then finding the energy to make art? Because I would lay on the couch under a blanket for 7 months just
No.
being like, I don't know.
Oh no, I went right into self-help. I read every self-help book. I watched every TED Talk. I listened to Deepak Chopra and Ram Dass and every philosopher that's
So-
ever existed. So I was just on this like spiritual awakening path, and I was like, I will better myself during this time.
It's good that it's really different though when you have like honestly positive people really
Annoy the shit out of me.
But it doesn't matter how
I
delusional
love
they are. It
because
works.
It
And
works
then
right
what was
now.
the craziest thing was that as I'm doing these things, then I realized, okay, I want to start making music again. And then I have all these like positive like ideas flowing through my thoughts. And that's what started coming into the music. And I'm like, wait, this is the new
I'm happy.
era of Carly's music. It's going to be pouring these lessons that I'm learning into music and letting like the music, you know, translate to other people.
Isn't it weird that my positivity comes from pressure? Like when I'm in a very chaotic
Yeah,
pressure
that's calm. That's
environment,
normal.
that's the only time I feel positive. But if I'm in a very stagnant,
Yeah.
laying in bed at home, it doesn't matter. I could be in Mykonos. But if I'm not in a pressure setting where I need to perform or do
Yeah.
something action-wise, I don't feel positive.
No,
Mm-hmm.
if
weird.
I have my phone and I'm not doing anything, that's when I feel sad because then I see everyone else doing things.
Yeah.
Right. But if I'm on vacation and my phone, if I lose my phone on vacation, oh my God, I'm in heaven because I have nothing to compare
Yeah.
me to. It's the constant comparison. If I'm sitting on my couch eating chips, watching a TV show, and I'm like, ugh, I'm consuming art instead of making it. And then I go on my
Yes.
phone and I'm consuming art instead of making it. And then I get in my car and I listen to music and I'm consuming art instead of making
Yeah.
it. That's where I feel like
I
shit.
feel the same
But
way.
the minute I'm cut off from all other people's influence and showing how much they're killing it versus me, that like when I go to Joshua Tree and there's no reception and I'm
Yeah.
not consuming art, I'm at peace. Like in Mykonos, I'll hopefully be at peace because I'll try to get rid of my phone as much as I
Okay,
can.
I heard this quote the other day, and this is important, that nowadays we are consuming more information in one day than people in like the 1500s used to consume in their entire lifetime.
Very toxic.
So our bodies are not made for this kind of consumption.
Well-
you know, every single thing on our phone is trying to sell us something. Every single, like, it's too much information for our bodies to handle. And it's really fucking with artists, I think, in a lot of ways.
period.
Fucks with
well,
all
your brain
people.
is a muscle
Yeah, all
and it's
people.
constantly overworked.
Yeah, we have to start like making rules for ourselves, I think, with this with our phones.
I feel,
That's why I want that. Do you ever see the show Severance?
Yeah.
So that's what I would like that implant. So do you see the show Severance? Severance is on Apple.
You do not want that implant.
It's the Ben Stiller. He created the show or directed it or whatever, or wrote it.
So freaky.
It's an awesome show. It's basically you get this chip implanted, and when you get to work, you go to work, and when you leave work, the chip activates, and you don't remember anything you did at work. So your entire life is just bliss, right? Your life is. You only wake up really mentally when you get home from work. And so it's a cool show because they show you about the other side where that one version of you is only stuck at work.
But it's a robot life.
Right. And I would like that.
And they're also like taking over your mind when you're at work.
Yeah. That's okay. I would want that.
No, I think we could do it. I think we're that powerful that we could make a decision to be at work when we're at work and not at work when we're not. But we're all just like I don't know what it is, why it's an addiction.
Yeah, because
it's like an addict.
There's a comparison because that's why there's so much more. People like, oh, people used to stay together back in the day. I'm like, yeah, because in the fucking 70s, no one left their fucking zip code, right? You just fucked the person that you were like closest to and you built a family with them. But with now the prevalence of the internet, there's so much comparison. You can look at your life and be like, I am trash. You could literally be a millionaire and be like, I'm poor because look at this billionaire.
But that's why for every human, I think it's most rewarding working for yourself. You know why? Because I personally think when you feel like whether it's a small achievement or any small progression, I think that gives you point of reference and makes you happier throughout your life. Instead of you going like, oh, okay, I finished school. Now I'm in a corporate company and I'm working for them. And then 10 years fly by and you get fired from your HR fucking position and you're like, oh my God, I'm 40 years old. What the fuck did I do? But if you worked for yourself and you failed, at least you know like, yo, I tried my best. I did whatever I had to do, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I agree and disagree with that because if you fail at something that you did as well, it's hard to figure out a way. We talked about it with Corinne, right? Like say I fail at everything I did, right? It's hard to re-enter the workforce when it feels like I just got out of jail because I haven't been employed by anyone in 18 years. I have no resume. I have no college degree, right? So it's extremely daunting that when you fail at an art to be like, what do I do? Because I don't have any skills outside of this art.
But that's why you have to build well-rounded skill. Imagine running around and let's say you don't make a single dollar. And then as the years go on, you're so frustrated, like, why is this not working? That's not working. I was able to, like, even in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to survive in LA. But after I showed up to LA and I started using my actual skills that I learned and I just calmed myself down, I'm like, oh my God, I can make this happen.
You'll survive anyway.
I can make this happen because I already know that I can survive. And then once you do that one time, once you move,
you're like, yo,
throw me anywhere. I'll go to Europe and fucking survive, you know? But before I would be psyched, I would be more like, I would psych myself out like, oh, I don't think I could pull that. But then when you do it one time and it's proof of concept, you're like, oh, I could do it. Yeah. Yeah, I can make that happen.
That's how I feel. Like once I moved back home and I survived that, once I like felt like literally everyone thought I failed and I don't know, was a loser. I was like, I have nothing left to lose now.
Well, you rose from the ashes, you know?
Yeah, once you rise from the ashes, you're like, okay, you know what? I can rise again.
Right, but some people end up fucking, killing themselves. So it just depends on how people deal with it, right?
Some
like
people are
Amy
thin.
Winehouse couldn't rise from the ashes.
Because some people are thin.
Well, there was a lot of drugs involved.
There's a lot of stuff involved, right?
And she also had people around her who were not a great support system, and your support system matters so much.
But not only that, but you have to be, you can't account on anybody else's happiness to be happy. And I always say this, bro. Thank God for my mom. When I was little, she kept telling me like, yo, it doesn't matter who you're hanging out with, just entertain yourself. And that's a very important skill to teach young people when they're like, yo, stop hanging out in the park.
Use your imagination.
Yeah, use your own time. Go rollerblade, bro. Go fucking throw the ball against the wall. It doesn't matter what it is. Just entertain yourself.
I know.
And if you become okay with that, you'll be fine. That's how I picked up the habits of like editing videos and like recording stuff. And then little by little, that developed into an actual thing that I started doing.
Yeah.
Because it was just something that I was doing for fun. And then all of a sudden, you develop that skill. And now you use it as a tool to meet people in the world. Met Kirill. You fly to the world. You have connections there.
You're no longer alone.
Yeah. I personally think the moral of the story is I think you as an artist, your success comes from the fact that you are resiliently positive and you're talented. But talent doesn't take you as far as the resilient positivity. You're absolutely right.
There's so many talented people out there. I think you got to keep reinventing yourself and keep as all of that time you spend on yourself, the art feels it. and then you pour that into the art, and then people feel it.
Can I ask you, because we've spent so much time going down like a very, mental rabbit hole, but like from a business music success thing, like you joined TikTok, you had no following, you started from scratch. How the fuck did you build it up that people cared, right? Because you're not famous, right? And you didn't start with like a fame to be like, oh my God, like I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, I joined YouTube and you have 20 million followers in an hour, right?
Yeah.
So how did you go about making yourself something from nothing, like on a TikTok? Like what are the formula? Like, I'm not asking you for the technical side of it, but like what is that journey to just pop?
The journey is authenticity. That's what it is. You have to be showing people something that, they're not seeing every day, and something that you have to offer the world. Every single one of us has gifts that we were born with and that we are meant to share. And when we're sharing them, people can feel that when it's real, when it's not an act.
Were your TikToks like very personal? Like, did you talk about your breakups?
Not yet.
Did you do any of that shit?
I started off just singing every day a song that I love.
That's another song or a song you wrote?
No, cover songs. I started but like cover songs that I love. So they weren't like the most popular songs in the world. They'd be like songs like Mary J. Blige or like Lauryn Hill or like Billy Joel, like just songs that I grew up listening to.
But also cool to hear from your perspective.
Cool to hear, yeah. But I have a very different voice, so like they sound really different from me. So they're familiar. People are like, that's a really familiar song at first.
Do you find that do you have fans that have like an Amy Winehouse fetish?
Oh, literally every single video I post is like, Amy Winehouse has been resurrected, or like...
Is that a compliment, or does that bother you?
I think she's incredibly talented. So that's totally fine, but I don't really agree.
Well, because you want individuality, right?
Yeah, and also I think people just aren't used to hearing like...
That sound?
Yeah, like a soulful, jazzy sound, and that's the only person that like got super famous to reference it to.
It's slightly nasally Jew voice too, where it's like very unique. Like you and her have that.
Can I ask you
style?
Would you ever do like? I think you would crush if you did some like in public cover songs.
Oh God.
You ever seen that chick in London?
It's funny because you said that and it like scares me, and I'm like,
You're a performer.
If it scares me.
Crush.
Maybe I should do it.
You should do it. Yeah. If
some in public stuff, like out on the streets of New York,
like you singing it out, like for real, like just being. I feel like people would literally stand there and just have like shivers listening to it because I'm serious.
You stood in like Grand Central
and just sang.
Not even Grand Central. Even if you were, let's say, pulled up in a spot in Soho, and people are walking around and they start hearing that sound, it would be crazy. People would stop.
You should do it in a fat suit though.
So
you should make it like
is this The Voice or something?
Yeah,
see if people will turn around.
The Masked Singer.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it would be sick. I don't know if you ever seen this blonde chick. She's in like London and she sings in public. Oh,
was that the one that Teddy Swims walked up to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she always sings in public and like people go bananas listening to her.
You should do that. Teddy Swims fucks with you. You guys did that.
He reposted one of my videos because he does those duets online.
He's a beast.
He is so talented.
Such a cool dude too.
I love his voice.
Such a nice guy.
I love his music. Yeah. You guys met him?
No, he followed me forever.
Are you an idiot? He follows you?
I sent him Carly's video.
Oh, right.
I told him when Carly did a little duet, I was like, yo, check out my girl
you
Carly.
Get me so tight,
and
dude.
He hit me up and he was like, oh my God, I love her shit. And I think he posted you then.
He did.
Yeah.
Teddy Swims follows you?
Yeah.
Yo, you're mad annoying.
I know. He's like, I don't know if I'm like successful. I'm like, you know everybody.
He's so
Everyone
annoying.
loves you too.
I can't stand this kid.
Why?
You just annoy me, honestly.
Why? Teddy Swims and I like talk all the time.
Corner like an idiot. You're laying in your corner like an idiot crying like a moron all the time. What are you crying about?
I'm crying about everything.
You idiot. Teddy Swim follows you. It's fucking fire.
It's pretty cool.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
Well, you know, all those bums that followed me that made something of themselves. That's the beauty of being on the internet this long.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully the people that fucked with me now are like,
yo, you can easily do those. If you
should I do a duet with Teddy Swims?
Also, can you imagine the confidence you build doing fucking public stuff like that? And if it doesn't hit, people walk past you, so what? Like, you already have the skill set and you already have that confidence. Why not just fucking
do it?
Bro, and record those TikToks. What does it matter? The people's reactions is what people love to watch, because people love to see awkward shit happen.
That's part of the social media game that I always wonder. I'm like, because my brain goes to everything would go viral, and I feel like you're more like, can it be authentic and organic? Mm-hmm. You're not like, we have a friend, Alex Starr, who went viral by just, disrupting a subway ride. and she went crazy viral for it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I respect that level of commitment to trying to find a way to make your shit
I've
pop.
done
right?
pranks.
Like, you prefer more organic, like I'm going to be me, or I'm going to go and like literally run out in the middle of the Super Bowl and sing a song?
Absolutely not. I'm going to be me
Yeah.
through and through. And I do also find that like all the videos I've ever had that went viral were me sitting on my bed in my parents' house.
Oh no, for sure.
You know?
That's that Urban
Right.
Outfitters vibe. Like I'm down with that too. But I'm saying, like, imagine hitting those notes and people just get shivers, bro, walking past you.
Just
in
putting
Soho.
I mean, I feel like you experienced that anyways. She performs.
I know, but it's that
I've never
unexpected
given
feeling.
Is that
anyone.
the
I give
unexpected
girls
thing?
shivers all the time.
Imagine
when
you
they
just
walk past
setting up, and you record the whole thing of you just setting up. People kind of like, it's gonna be another show on Soho. People want money,
No,
and then
here's
all of a
another
sudden,
hot girl who
and
thinks
then
she can
all of a
sing.
sudden you just
And then I surprise
and
them
you just
all.
hit them with that vocal, and they're like, and then you just come over there like, oh
Should we
my
go
God.
do it right now?
Yeah, go to Washington Square Park.
It would be sick.
We'll go to Best Buy,
Be sick.
get a mic.
Can you play any instruments?
No. Just my voice. But I hear melodies all around. So it's like I could literally sit down in a session and be like, this is the melody I have in my head. I have this lyric. And then the producers, they come up with stuff.
When you make music, do you have the lyrics first, or are you creating like just nonsensical, like I wanted to flow this way, and then I'll find the words to fit
Yeah.
a little bit, like
Yeah.
because I know some people do like scat. Right? They'll
Yeah.
be like, whatever. Like, Estee will sometimes just like make noises, and then you're like, all right, those words can match.
Yeah, that's
these
what I
noises.
do. Usually I'll have like someone play some chords for me, and then I start hearing a melody and I'll start like kind of scatting it out. And then I actually a lot of times
Not like,
nice. Skibidi-boo-bop. Remember the Scat Man?
Yeah, he died,
I'm a
man.
scat
When I rap, I have like a. If I want to do like a chorus, I would be like,
fucking artist right here.
and then I'll just like fill in the words,
Yeah.
and I'll be like,
That was a rapper.
what can sound with good with that?
Well, sometimes it's crazy. I'll listen to a scat. This happens
That
sometimes.
sounds, scat is such a terrible word. Were you picking for this conversation what scat means?
No.
It's when you poop on people. It's scat porn.
What?
That's
so-
when someone says, do you not agree, Bobby? When in most people's communities, the word scat usually implies
Most people's
poop.
communities, I do not think
Well, you
anybody
didn't know what docking
knows that
was.
word but you.
So you just be careful who you say the word scat around.
I'll be very careful.
Like, I like to scat. They'll be like, okay, this chick's into pooping on people.
You're such an idiot.
You don't know this? I'm not alone.
Yeah. I've been scatting since like middle school.
Shorty's been scatting. All
Clip
over.
that up.
She's been scatting all over the place.
Oh my God, I'll scat anywhere.
I hear scatter.
Carly, are you working on anything new? What's the next project that you're working on?
I got a new song I'm putting out
Okay, what's
next
it about?
month. This is the one about God or me or another person. You have to decide that for yourself.
Very good marketing.
I love it. We've had a whole episode about God, and she's like, anyways, dropping a song about God.
Yeah.
Can you give us a vocal?
Yeah, what's a little...
Do you want me to play a snip of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Can you
What do
sing
you
it a
mean?
cappella? You have a very beautiful voice.
you have a
and
sick
we've never
voice.
had
Thank you.
anyone
Don't fuck
besides
around.
Matt Fish Out of Whiskey sang
Can
us
you
some
sing?
fucking
Okay,
bullshit.
fine. I'll give you a little
Do you
something.
do you want to hear anything in your do you need a music, a beat?
A beat?
No,
Oh, Lord, no. Let's just go a
Please,
cappella.
brother, you're very funny and you have a lot of talents. Just don't do that.
Okay.
Okay, so where should I start with? Like maybe the chorus?
I don't know the song.
All right, fine.
Whatever. But what is it? What is the song called?
This song is called Till I Found You.
Can I do a little snips recording?
Till I
Sure.
Found You. This might make like your man's head inflated.
I love my man.
Yeah, but you also got to keep guys in check. You can't write a song about God and be like it's about you.
I love my girl could text me randomly. She's like, I love you so much, babe.
You're like, what
This
did
is
you
one of
just
those
do? What
moments
did you
for you.
just do? Anytime Estee says I love you out of nowhere, I'm like,
What'd you
what
do?
just happened?
We went on a good trip. All right, come on.
all right,
hit us
Carly.
with it.
What do you got?
Okay, so it goes. Love me, yeah you do. I found something true. Tend to my heart, touch every part. This is the start of a love I can't lose. Thunder, cut the rain. Released me from this pain. Showed you my demons. You gave me freedom. Must have been sleeping till I found you.
Wow,
Dude, that's so
fire.
dope.
That's called Till I Found You.
Bro, I'll
that was
say this.
fire. I closed my eyes after I saw you close your eyes. Yo,
So
that
much better.
slapped.
Yeah,
so
what am I
crazy.
gonna look at Bobby while she
No,
sings
because
this
you know
song?
why? Because you know why? Because taking in the feeling of you being vulnerable in a moment to sing that a cappella off the rip like that, I think it's much more like you focus really on the energy when you close your eyes.
Well, yeah, I'm also like it's so much
Because I'm
more
watching
props
your
that you're doing
like
it.
your body language and I'm watching your eyes and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I think it's more. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Oh,
That
cool.
was sick.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was
Yo,
really
that
was-
good.
Thanks, guys.
I would high five you. My hands are sweaty.
I wrote, you know where I was staying when I wrote that?
My house?
Your house.
Oh, she wrote it about me, guys.
Yo, you really.
Songs about
yo,
me.
you're stupid talented.
Oh, thank you.
Stupid-
Thank you.
stupid
It's
talent.
you know it's been really amazing also though that Kirill and Estee have totally opened up their home to me like during this time in my life where anytime I was like, "You know what? I want to go to LA and write a bunch." They're like, "Come stay with us." I stay with them. I'll do writing sessions every day and like go to do a fun thing with them at night and it was a really, really important part of my journey.
And we
you guys
we
were.
do photo shoots together.
Oh yeah, and Kirill shoots
They're the
almost
best.
all of my album covers.
They are the best. I love them. It's very fun hanging out with Estee and Kirill because it's just like there's no pressure.
Yeah, no
we're just
pressure.
hanging out. No need to be extra. Let's just
Yeah.
eat a simple meal, be in
Hang
each other's
out.
presence.
Yeah.
You know, hang out, maybe a little pickleball.
Yeah.
In the
Well,
sun.
that's even how like all of our photo shoots go. We have no plan. We just sit. I show
like
up.
it.
I wear
Which
something
I
cute.
love because I feel when I first met Carly that maybe she was like a little more neurotic.
I was.
And more concerned with
The look.
like not even the look but just like I need to know everything
Mm-hmm.
and I'm much more I'm like a photographer like jazz right like I don't
Yeah.
like to have
You're
30
improv.
people
You're improv
I
photographer.
don't use light meters I don't really like look I'll plan a cool shoot if we need to but if it's like just come by like we're both good enough that we should be able to find art from nothing than
Yeah.
to sit here and plan it.
Absolutely.
And-
intimidating for a lot of people though.
I love it. I
My
think
girl
there's
is
so
also
much
a
more.
planner and very neurotic too. She
Yeah.
needs everything very structured.
Yeah.
And I get that. It works for her.
Yeah.
Me, I'm on the fly.
I
my
am
friends
too.
are like,
Yeah.
they're
No.
like, oh, let's plan this, let's plan that. I'm like,
Most of
brother,
the
when
thing-
we get to Greece, don't you worry. I will have everything solved within seconds.
Okay, I disagree with that. Vacations I need to plan, but with art, I'm like I've spent so long building my skill set that now I get to just show up and be like, just give me a camera and we'll find it because trust me,
Yeah.
I don't want to overthink it.
You are the best photographer I've ever worked with. You
All right, guys, this has
seriously.
been a great episode.
You are a super talented photographer.
He's
so.
insane. Like
well, you're also good looking. Ask some of the fucking monsters I photographed where they're like, oh, these are awful.
you're. I
But
don't
that's
know.
real art.
That's where I shine.
I can't give this guy a
Should see my
compliment.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
he's
he's
can't.
so
I
annoying.
can't.
He's corny.
I
with that
appreciate
shit.
it.
He's a
Thank you,
bird.
guys.
When it comes to compliments, he's such a little wimp.
I know.
What do you want me to say? Thank you?
Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, good.
But really, it's like it's so exciting when I have a shoot with you because I'm like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan anything. I just have to show up, and I know every single time we get something really cool.
Those are my favorite photo shoots.
Yeah, that was so fire though. The vocals, I wish I could sing, bro. There's two things that I would always want. Three things that I wish I could have been. Right, either a stand-up
Taller.
comic, which I could still technically be if I work hard enough, like performer, like singer,
Yeah.
like a rapper, or an athlete, or like a soccer player or something like that. Those three things right there are
Yeah.
just
So 3 careers where you'd be stupid famous and worship.
well, not. I don't have to be necessarily worship, but as long if that was
I
just
agree
my
with
life
you. I
every
agree
day.
with you.
Like I don't have to be the best soccer player in the world, but if this was my career and that's what I did for work, that would be sick.
It would be sick, but if you weren't the best, you'd be constantly worried about being fired or
It
cut
doesn't
and having
matter.
to go another job.
I already know
it's
that
not
I
just
already
smooth
know that I'm
sailing.
on
In fact,
100%.
sometimes being given a gift like this, I'm like, there's a lot of pressure on it because I'm like, I need to do something with this, and can be
You're doing
overwhelming.
it.
You are?
I am now, but there were periods where I wasn't.
Your voice is stupid though.
Oh,
it's
thank you.
actually
Yeah.
like mentally.
Like, and
how
you know, I
crazy it
went to
is.
school for musical theater. Mm-hmm. And that's a time where I really struggled because when I got out of school, I thought like Broadway was going to be waiting for me. I thought they're going to be like, Carly's out, let's get her on a show. Like, and then you show up at these cattle calls and like they barely even look up to hear you sing. And I'm trying to do this like cool spin on these musical theater songs. And they're like, can you sing it like the girl who had the part before you? And I was like, no.
Yeah, you're trying to make it your own.
Yeah. And so there was this identity crisis I went through where I spent my whole life thinking I was going to be on musical theater.
Yeah,
and they were
like
like
the
pretty much
DMV.
like, your voice does not fit on Broadway.
It's like the DMV. You got to drive correctly for the person in the car.
Right.
Not because you're driving correctly. You know what I mean? Like, you could
I
be...
like that analogy.
Yeah, because technically in the DMV, like, you have to perform for the person that's watching you in the car.
I'm never
I don't
driving
drive how I drove for the test.
10 and 2?
Yeah,
And I drive
exactly.
like that. And I drive fine.
Right. So you're playing a role, which that kind of is what also acting is and all this training is for. But like, I started to realize that like I wasn't getting the roles because I,
Well, that's where art meets business, right?
Yeah.
Your whole life you're told you're a unique voice, you're your individual. Go on this Broadway show, be yourself. And they're like, yeah. But at the end of the day, when I hire you at Starbucks, I don't need you to be an individual. Go make the coffee the way we made them.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't
Like,
want you to
making
start
new
getting
formulas.
artistic
Yeah,
there.
but
Can
now
you
you need
stop?
But that's why it's good to work for yourself, because there's barbers. I cut hair, right? I have a barber shop. Everyone's like, do it like this, do it like that. My brother, my outcome for the haircut is always better, and it looks amazing, and I don't follow any of the steps they teach you to do. So it's like, people come up with all of these like barriers of like, don't worry, I can recreate it. And that's the problem. That's why professionals that are outgrowing other people that are doing it differently, and everyone from back in the day is like, don't do it like that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's for you. That worked for you. That's
but you
fine.
start to realize, I think, as you get older, honestly, that like nobody knows. Nobody knows anything.
I tell my girl all the time.
Stop looking outside you for the answers. You know so much better what you're good at than anybody else.
I used to show up to places and I'm like, wait, this person's not that talented.
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Yeah.
They're just more
And
driven.
I came there with so much pressure, like putting so much pressure on myself, like, you gotta be like this. And then I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm in a room full of these people, they're doing a casting. I'm like, bro, most of these people can't even say 2 sentences and make it fun. So it's like...
Yeah, you're also comparing yourself to people who had a unique life different from yours, right? If we all had the same exact path, sure, I will take advice from you. But the fact that you had different obstacles versus me, like, your advice won't really always work for me.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, when people are like, oh, you should do it this way. It's like, yeah, well, Netflix beat out Blockbuster. And I'm sure Blockbuster was telling people, like, why would anyone want to have DVDs in the mail? Right? And it's just like...
It's got to adjust it to you. You have to adjust it to who you are. That's
Absolutely.
just what it is. And that's why he's like, I don't care about structuring these photo shoots. I enjoy the vibe, and I go off the vibe, and I'll make it silly fun, and I'll find my way.
I think the problem with a structured photo shoot to me is that it's not interesting because it's done before it started.
Yeah.
Because I already know what the execution is. I know what the look is. I know what the final product is.
wow.
I'm like, there's nothing to chase.
Nothing was born. Nothing was born.
Wait, and you already
Nothing's
had your destination.
Yeah.
And you're not on a journey anymore. You're just trying to get to the destination without enjoying the whole process.
Right, and that's why I see like really beautiful planned out photo shoots. This is where I have an identity crisis as a photographer. That's why I don't really take compliments for photography that well, is because I'll see people post like, oh, I did this photo shoot, and there's like 17 assistants, lighting guys, all the makeup art, and I go, is this what a real photographer should be doing? And then I look at the photograph and I was like, I could have done that on the fly alone,
Accomplished that by myself
with nobody else. And I'm like, am I just better that I don't need all that shit, or am I just not doing it the right way?
In my world, you are.
You're doing it the right way.
In my world, that's how.
But a lot of people,
but other people would argue.
But a lot of people are performative, right? At the end of the day, if General Motors hires me to do a photo shoot, they want me to show up with 30 people because it makes them feel comfortable. Than if I just showed up with this camera, right? Versus like, guys, I can do with this camera more than most people can do with like 17 assistants. But yeah, I guess you just got to prove it to them.
Yeah.
I guess
and you know what? You might enjoy having some people around. You might enjoy having like a stylist who's there to like be like, okay,
Sure.
I'm ready for a new look right now. Let's touch up her makeup right. And you don't want to be doing every detail of the shoot.
When people whip out light meters now still, I'm like, what is that?
I don't even know what
I'm
that
like,
is.
that's from like the film days. And I understand like people still like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, just
People
find a light.
overcomplicate too much shit.
Yeah, get in your own window.
Overcomplicate. And you know what sucks is that, bro, I hate the corporate world for that reason. Is that everyone has to use this beautiful, like, calm writing in these emails and this and that. Like, bro,
I'm an artist.
We can accomplish the same thing in one email.
Yeah.
If you just openly, just transparently, just said
Well,
whatever.
Say what
the,
you
the
want.
minute it becomes corporate, right? Everyone's like, well, this person could get fired, or that person, if you say the wrong thing,
and then you have to negotiate
And
and
then
send it
there's pronouns.
back. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this and that, and it's like, guys, it's the same thing. Could have saved this.
Yeah.
Just 3 text messages.
Yeah.
That's it.
I want Kirill to start a page that's just for photography. Or a TikTok or something if you don't want to do another Instagram.
He's
account.
not consistent enough with it.
Yeah, my problem is, and I made this goal for myself, is when we come back to New York more permanently, is that's where I think I will thrive better. My problem is in Los Angeles, I have a lot of photography, but it's hard to do photography constantly. And
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you though. You say that. I'm just gonna tell you the truth.
Go ahead.
You don't push yourself too hard.
where?
Like in general, like you want your free time after work, and I get that. You are that type of person that you need to sign out and you need to have your time. But I think if you put a little more pressure on yourself, I think all of that could be accomplished.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I'm also 40, and at 31, I had that. I was pushing myself harder than anyone at your age too, right? I was literally going out 6 nights a week creating content. It's just not interesting for me in Los Angeles. Like, it's just not interesting.
Forget about Los Angeles in general.
But in New York, yeah. But it's very hard to constantly find creativity and take photos and create photo shoots when you're running another business.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's like,
That's so
if
true.
Carly ran a clothing brand like Assholes Live Forever, it'd be hard for her to constantly find inspiration and make music and be upbeat. So for me, it's like, will I find my photo career? Probably towards the tail end of Assholes Live Forever, right? Where I have the freedom to be like, well, I'm fucking off now, and now I'm again a garbage bag in the wind. But I've got this camera to be able to slowly transition into photography again, to at least be like, I'm documenting things and finding art in everyday things.
Do you think that camera is your personal trainer at the gym?
Yes. This camera is never leaving my side, and I want to just be able to return to... There's so many times that so many things I've been to that I just wish I captured in the last 6 years, and I just haven't really done it.
Yeah, I get it.
My stomach's grumbling. I'm starving.
Same.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Carly, is there anything you want to plug? Anything? We didn't even really... I don't even know what we talked about.
Life.
But you have a new song coming out. What's it called?
It's called Till I Found You.
Till I Found You.
I'll put the pre-save in my bio.
When does it come out?
I didn't book it yet, like put a date down yet.
Are
I'm
you
thinking,
doing like a religious photo shoot for it? What's the cover?
So I'm actually using a photo I have of myself like looking into a mirror.
So you're God.
And, well, in this photo. But I want, when you listen to the song, you can decide who it's about for you. And I did write this song, I will say, in a period of my life where I had just really fallen deeply in love with the man I'm with now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Could the song be about music?
The song could absolutely be about music.
Like there's tons of things.
Oh, yes, exactly. And I love that. I love a song where it's like, to each person who listens to it, they're going to find their
Some
own.
junkie shooting up heroin is going to feel that way about heroin.
Guys,
Yeah.
listen, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm having a career crisis, right?
Okay.
And I was thinking, I'm like, I'm in Santorini, and I'm looking at these DJs, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I'd be a good fucking
I told you this 10 years ago.
And if I ever need your vocals for like a fucking dope song, we're doing it.
You
or
want
what?
this on record?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, fire.
I'm down. And I also feel like when you feel that pull, that like jealousy feeling, that feeling of like, I'm on vacation right now, but I'm actually looking at somebody else and thinking I want to be doing that, you got to follow that. That's your intuition. That's like, jealousy is the most beautiful map you can have.
Do you think you want to be a DJ because it looks easy?
No.
You're
I
gonna
want to
hate
be.
your
I
life
want
as
to
a
be a
DJ.
DJ because I think it would be. I enjoy being around people like crazy. I enjoy making people feel good.
You would
Yeah.
hate it.
So I love stage. Why?
You would hate it
Kirill,
because
don't shoot down his dreams.
Why would I hate it?
Because it is the same life of a comedian until you make it. To be Black Coffee up there, that guy is one of the most famous DJs in the world.
Well, it became that recently.
Right. So you would have to, and I know this would fuck with you, is spend your nights 6 nights a week grinding with nightclubs and promoters and being away from your girl and everyone being like, who are you hanging around these whores? All this shit, bottle girls, drinking, schmoozing, hustling. And then on top of that, you have to make music that they like that goes viral versus playing other people's records. I think you should do it if you're passionate
Well,
about it.
that's if he
but it's
follows the
incredibly
exact formula of being a DJ
exactly.
But if he
You're the
finds
same guy
some
that tells
new-
me I can't cut hair a certain way.
Yeah, that's
What do you
the
mean?
thing. If he finds a new way to DJ or a new way to do
All right,
this,
go ahead.
who knows?
But I do see what you're talking about as far as like
You
going
just see
back
the
into
guy up
nightlife.
there and you're like,
going
I
back
really-
into nightlife is very miserable.
Right. You look at that and you're like, I want to be that. The same way I look at Justin Bieber and go, I want to be that. But I don't really want any of the hardships of their life.
I definitely enjoy a healthy lifestyle, so that's a big problem for that kind of job.
Yeah, like look at Diplo. He lives a very incredible life and he's incredibly healthy and fit and does everything you want to do. But guess what? That dude's been doing this for 30 years, 25 years, and he came from the gutter of Philly.
Gutter,
Of Philly in Florida. That dude grinded so hard, did grimy DJ sets for 5 people, which you should and can do if you're down. I'm not discouraging.
No, but
I
you're
just
right.
know you is like, I'll go with you to every gig. Like, I'll go to
No,
the
you
bells
won't.
and yeah, what?
No, you won't.
Dude, anytime to go get tequila and watch you DJ, I'd literally be there.
Bro,
Why
I
don't
know
you
you.
start at Kirill Summer Fridays? See how you like it. See if it's something that
I'm
you
nasty
get.
with like, you know what I'm very good at? Knowing like what people want and style wise. Like that's why barbering
Reading a room.
is part of that too,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm very good at reading like what the general public would want or enjoy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Pretty good at that. And I'm very good at trends. Like I know how to pick up on like what's hot, what's not.
Now, are you good at making music?
That's the problem. You got it.
So you picked an... Guys, I don't really know how to paint, but I really want to be a painter.
I made a fire song, a hip hop song. So I'm not bad.
You want to sing us a line?
Yeah, want to sing for us?
I'll sing you guys a
You
line.
want to close our eyes?
Yeah, let's close our
See
eyes.
if we have the same moment with Val.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, give that beat.
I'm gonna show you guys.
Is it Jewish, bluish, Drewish, Hewish? Dr. Seuss of rap?
Hold on, I gotta find this. I don't have it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll rap next time we're on an episode.
You already rapped on an episode with Matt.
Yeah, whatever, next time. But
It's
okay,
hot.
guys, it's hot.
It's been an hour plus episode.
Thank you for pulling up.
Thank you for
Carly,
having me,
we're gonna
guys.
Your
go-
energy
we're
is
gonna go
very-
hang now.
Yes, your
We're gonna
energy is the
smoke.
best.
You're welcome to come.
Whoa, calm down
Oh,
there, fucking
sorry.
scat queen over here.
Yeah, relax, scatter.
What should we call this episode? Honestly, you know what we should do? Val and I have a really hard time. We record a bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
And then when we went to air it, every episode, we always sit there in a group chat for 3 hours. We're like, what do we call it? And we're like, we should name these episodes right after they're done. But maybe we should just talk to the guests at the end
What
and
I
help
heard,
them title
the
the
running
episode.
theme through this,
Scat. Let God scat on me.
or the
wants-
scat queen.
He
Um,
wants
Carly wants God to
he wants
scat.
like very clickbaity.
Oh,
names.
because I was like, I think that the running theme through this was the journey is the destination, but I
It's
don't
a
know
scatting.
how.
Yeah, this would be great if we were like a therapy show and people...
Therapy. This could be
It's
like
My
gotta be
community
God-
would like that a
God
lot.
scat Carly. Honestly, that sounds like a fucking... Like you're running
Or
for
you
office.
could God scatting. Carly.
beautiful
Carly
voice,
scats.
but loves to scat.
Carly scats for God.
Beautiful.
Ay, ay, ay.
Beautiful voice, but scatting everywhere.
Jesus. Yeah.
Whatever, we'll figure it out.
No.
Yeah. She loves God and scat.
Or like she does this, she scats and she's
She does this, she scats, and she... You can't
And
say
she-
she scats. That sounds like a Pornhub title.
I really don't think actually it does.
What?
Saying she scats?
Done.
We have an overly positive artist that scats.
I think, guys, I don't know what you guys think people...
You're so innocent. I
Why
love
don't we
you.
walk down the street right now and ask 10 different people what scatting is?
I don't know what
Do you know
scatting
the
is.
art
I'm
of,
going along with that.
Do you know the art of scatting verbally is like no one like who know people don't even know who like Amy Winehouse is anymore this generation.
You
Don't
don't
know what
think
scat is.
people know what scatting is?
There's a fourth person, Bobby. What do you assume? Scatting is
If
it
we
more
ask people
musical
on the street,
or
what
is
do you
it
think
more
people would say?
sexual?
Like-
and he's from the comedy world, so
I mean, yeah, from the comedy world, I'm gonna go shitting.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I am very
Yeah, like
naive,
Carly
I
just
guess.
scat all over the stage.
Okay, that's not...
Yeah, I
that
don't
is not the
But you
words
do.
we're
You
putting it
technically-
in.
You technically could scat both ways all over a stage. All right, guys. This has been another insightful episode of Ugly on the Inside. I'm Kirill. This has been Val. We've got Carly Pearl.
Carly Pearl, follow me, guys. I'm
What-
on TikTok. I'm on Instagram.
Carly with a C. C-A-R-L-Y.
C-A-R-L-Y.
Pearl.
Pearl, P-E-A-R-L.
Amazeballs.
Yeah. I'm on Spotify and any streaming platform. So.
And the coolest part about Carly is once in a while you'll be watching a random TV show and she'll just show up as a stripper in what is that show?
Okay, I haven't always been a stripper. I've just been a lot of strippers.
She's been a stripper. I was watching.
The Good Cop.
Tony Danza and what's the actor? The singer Josh Groban.
Josh Groban, yeah.
Yeah, I was watching. It was a great show.
Yeah. They show up at my strip club and I'm like, they're looking to solve a murder.
And I'm like, is that fucking Carly right there?
That's fire.
Yeah, they're like, we're looking for $1 bill, and so I pull out like this huge stack of ones, and I'm like, could it be one of these? And then we find one that has the number on it.
And then she scats everywhere.
And then we go on a search.
Carly Pearl, guys.
Woo!